This is a review of the last three chapters, chapters 4, 5, and 6. This is test number 2. So let's see. The first question. 18 less than 1/2 of a number. Let's begin with this. 1/2 of a number. None of us knows what that number is. So 1/2 of the number is what? 1/2 x. 18 less than this. 18 less than this. So what do we do? Less than means what? Subtraction. And there is the 18. If you remember when we list the keywords, less than was a subtraction. So 18 from 1/2 x. The second one, evaluate. That means get a value for this. A plus b over a minus b when a is 7, b is 2. Let's plug them in. 7 plus 2, 7 minus 2. 9 over 5. Do we have 9 over 5? B. All of these from chapter 4 so far. This whole page from chapter 4. Solve. 8 plus y equals 17. So to subtract 8 from this side, subtract 8 from that side. Y equals 17 minus 8. Is that a 9? D. Solve for t. T minus 3 equals 0. Add 3 to both sides. T equals 3. So that's the first page, the first 4 questions. All of them from chapter 4. Notice this particular test, when I printed it, was 3 pages. Actually, 6 altogether, or 5, because there's front and back of each one. So make sure when you get your test, you have 20 questions on it. Sometimes they fit on 2 sheets, sometimes on 3 sheets. Solve for y.
It's really x.
Oh, solve for x, thank you. X plus 4 equals 4. Subtract 4 from both sides. X equals, what's 4 minus 4? 0. Solve for x. That's a multiplication. 8x equals 16. That's a multiplication. What's the opposite to multiplications? Division. X equals 2. Solve for t. 17 equals 3t. That's still multiplications. And the opposite to multiplication is division. You divide by 3 because you want to make sure it's only 1t. T equals 17 over 3. And notice they have that answer here. You don't have to change it to a mixed number. Solve for x. 2x equals 2. That's a multiplication. We divide by 2. X equals 1. So the first 8 questions all solving equations almost from chapter 4. Now, the next group is going to be chapter 5. As we said, this test, chapters 4, 5, and 6. So up to here, all of that came from chapter 4. Now it's chapter 5. Are these pair of numbers proportional? Proportional means are they equal? The first one is 5 to 3, and the second one 15 to 9. There's lots of ways of doing it. You can simplify this to see if it's equal to that. You can actually try to make the bottom the same and see if the top are the same. Or you can take the easy way out, cross multiply. What's 5 times 9? 45. What's 3 times 15? 45. Are they equal?
No.
Yes. Notice if you simplify the 15 over 9, you could divide it by 3. That'll give you what? 5 over 3, which is the same as this. Here we go. Chapter 5, still 5. All the way to here. All of these are chapter 5. A car travels 167.1 miles in 3 hours. What is the rate of speed in miles per hour? The word per, we said, means what? Per, always in math, means divide. Miles per hour. So let me take the miles and divide them by the hours. The miles is 167.1. The hours are what? 3. 16 by 3. 5. 5 times 3. 15. Remainder is 1. Bring that 7 down. 17 by 3. 5. 5 times 3. 15. Remainder is 2. Bring the 1 down. 21 by 3 is 7. 7 times 3, 21. The remainder is 0. 55.7 miles per hour. $55.7 miles per hour. The next one, 11. Solve 5 over 7 equals 8 over x. 5 over 7 equals, so cross multiply. 5 times x equals 8 times 7, which is what? Is it 56? Divide by 5. And notice if you look at your numbers, they're all decimal, which means let's go ahead and divide them. So 56, and here's my decimal point, lots of zeros if I need them. Going to divide that by 5. 5 by 5 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. The remainder is 0. Bring the 6 down. 6 by 5 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. The remainder is 1. Bring that 0 down. 10 by 5, 2. 2 times 5, 10. Done. 11.2. And the last one from this chapter is the same thing. Cross multiply. 5 times x is 5x equals 4 times 9, 36. Divide by 5. And let's divide them. 36.00, I'll just put color zeros, over 5. 7. 7 times 5 is what? 35. Remainder is 1. Bring that 0 down. 10 by 5 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 7.2. Now, this group comes from chapter 6, which is still open till Wednesday. Remember, you have to take that quiz 106 before Wednesday, close out Wednesday. And this test is going to open today, and it will stay open till Friday. So if you took the quiz, you're in good shape. If not, there's your review right now. Decimal notation to percent. So what you have is 6% and says find the decimal. You want to go to decimal. And if you remember, percent to a decimal to percent, I said what? Think of the ABC. You are a percent, which is way on the right side, and you want to go where? To decimal, to the left. You're going to move the decimal point 2 places to the left. It's always 2 places. When there's no decimal point, it's at the end. So move it 2 places to the left. 1, 2. So what's that number? 0.06. Do we have 0.06? Yes. It's the same as 0.06. What's the matter? You're huffing and puffing. You want to change it to fraction. Percent to fraction. P, F. Please don't fight. Percent to fraction. D for divide. D for divide. You're going to take that number and divide it by what? 100. When you divide by 100, you actually move in the decimal point how many places? To which direction? To the left. 1, 2. So that number should be what? You want to put a 0 in the front, that's fine. You don't want to put the 0, that's also fine. Oh, they just want to leave it as a fraction. They don't, oh, my mistake. They don't want decimal. They want it as a fraction. I fell asleep here. So this is correct, but they want the answer as what? Fraction. So I have 7.5. Here we go. That's not good there because they want to leave it as a fraction. That's not a fraction. Over 100. Let's move the decimal point 1 place to the right, which means you got to move this 1 place to the right. That becomes what? 75 over 1,000. I fell asleep. They want it to a fraction. I change it to a percent. I mean decimal here. So to simplify this, we divide by 25. By 25, this is 3. By 25, this is 40. That's 3 over 40. Do we have 3 over 40? Yes. What I did here is absolutely correct, except I forgot we're looking to change it to fraction, not to decimal. This is decimal. They want it as a fraction. I fell asleep here. I need more coffee. Translate. Notice it's translate. Don't solve it. 6% of what number is 12? Of means multiply. Is means equal. 6% of what number is equal to 12? Do we have one that looks like that? A. Doesn't matter whether you put the 12 on the left side or the right side. 6% times a number, X or N, whatever you want to use, equals 12. Now this one, they want us to solve it. Solve. And you can use either method. Now, if you want to use the proportion method, that's the NBA, the percent is always your what? Number. That's 35% of what number? What comes after of? The base. And what comes after is? The amount. So the number is always the percent. What comes after the word of is your base. What comes after is your amount. 35% of what number is 21? That's what the question is. 35% of what number is 21? So now let's take that. The equation n to 100 is the amount to the base. 35 to 100, the amount 21 to the base, which is unknown. I could make life easy on me by simplifying this fraction on the left, because I can divide it by 5, make it smaller numbers. By 5, this will be what? 7. By 5, this will be 20. Just to make the number smaller. Now cross multiply. 7 times x. 7x equals 21 times 20. 420. And to solve for x, you divide by 7. If you do the math, that's 60. If you go to the side and divide them, that number is 60. 42 by 7 is 6. This question, application. Entertainment takes 14% of family income. A family makes $14.50 a month. $14.50 a month. How much money is spent on entertainment? It's 14% of the income, and the income is $14.50. So it's 14% of the $14.50. Now, if you want to do this, of means multiply. 14% 0.14 times the $14.50. Let's do the math and see what the answer is. Four times 0 is 0, 4 times 5, 20, 0 carry 2, 4 times 4 is 16, 18, 8 carry 1, 4 times 1 is 4, and 1, 5. 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 5, 1 times 4, 1 times 1. 0, 0, 5 and 8, 13. Now, how many digits we have to the right of the decimal point for this? 0. How many to the right of the decimal point for this? 2. When you add them, what do you have? 2. You're going to move the decimal point how many places? 1, 2 places. So how much they're going to spend? $203 on entertainment per month. $203.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it as 14 over 100.
Yep, you can do that. NBA.
Okay, but
You did the NBA.
Yeah, I got
That's
the
your
same
base. You're looking for the amount. Yep.
answer. Yeah, I got the same answer.
He said he did it using this equation. The 14 is the percentage. So 14 over 100 equals, we're looking for the amount, and you have the base. It should be the same answer. Doesn't matter which method we use. Maybe I'll do that for this method. The heating method for the heating bill for last month was 120. This month is $90. What's the percent decrease? So last month was your base. Your base was $120. For some reason, maybe you were on vacation or we had a nice warm weather. This month wasn't as bad as last month. You only paid $90. So the amount of decrease is 120 minus 90, which is what? 10. 30. Isn't it 30? 120 minus 90. 30. Oh, I said 10. Oh. So it decreased by $30. And we're looking for the percent. That's what we're looking for. What's the percent decrease? We'll use the NBA method. The ratio of n to 100 is the amount to the base. I'm looking for n. This is 30 over 120. Again, I can look at that fraction on the right side, try to simplify it to make the number smaller. If I simplify it, notice I'm not even looking at this side. What can I do? I can cancel this with that, right? You have 3 over 12, which is what? 1 over 4. By doing that, you just make the number smaller. You're not dealing with big numbers. Now let's multiply. N times 4. 4n equals 1 times 100 divided by 4. By 4, n equals what? 25%. So we dropped it by 25%. Again, all of that from chapter 6, all the stuff we've been doing. So anyone didn't take that test yet? There's your review. Translate, that means don't solve it. See, translate, don't solve it. It says do not solve, actually. I don't even have to say that. What is 40% of 80? What is 40% of 80? The 40% is your number. What comes after of is always what? Your base. So we know N and we know B. So the what, that must be the amount. The ratio of N to 100 is the amount to the base. 40 to 100 equals the amount x n, whatever you use, to the base, which is what, 80? Do we have one that looks like this? I think it's A, isn't it? Just backward. They just put this one on this side, this one on that side. Doesn't matter which side you put them on. And the last one. Translate to proportion. Do not solve. Just translate. 14 is. Remember, what comes before is or after is the amount. That's the amount. Is. What percent? We're looking for the percent. That's the number. There's the word of, and what comes after of? Is the base. 14 is what percent of 20? 14 is what percent of 20? N to 100 equals the amount, which is 14, to the base. It says just translate, don't solve it. Is that a B? I think that's B if I'm seeing it right. Yep. Now, if they wanted to solve it, you go cross multiply. They don't ask to solve it, but if you want to, you divide by 20. 140 divided by 2, which will be 70. Again, this question was just translate, stop right here.